Hey there, I'm your host Lisowi, and this is part 9 of the merchant series. In today's video, we'll go over how to create a random item generator with also a level requirement for our merchant or any containers you might have. And at the end, we'll go over how to create a sound system for our inventory. So with that said, let's begin. Let's start by opening up the content drawer and going to our item data. Now in here, we want to edit our system a little bit. So let's open up the item details. And one of the requirements we'll have, or the restriction, will be the level. So let's create a new variable called level of type integer. Save it. And then if we go to our item data, we can edit what level this item is supposed to spawn at. So gold coins will leave at 0. Large mana potion, let's do 5. This will spawn at level 3. And this will spawn at level 1. Save that, exit. And let's open up the inventory component. So in here, let's compile. So my Unreal just crashed. And I think that was because we edited the structure after having a data table. But anyways, let's go ahead and create a function called filter out and return. Now the purpose of this function is to check for any restrictions we might have and any items that we don't want. So in here as an input, we'll add in our level. Let me just compile, hoping it doesn't crash. We're good. So we then want to get data table row names. Now with this, we want our item data to do a for each loop. With this, let's create a variable called items to filter out. And this will be an array of names. So our item IDs. We want to get it and see if it contains this item. Now, if it does, we actually want to see if it doesn't contain. So we'll do a not boolean. So any items. So if it doesn't have any items to filter out, it will go ahead. We want and boolean. We want to check for 3 things here. The second thing is going to be money. Because our money, the item quantity that you can stack is so high, it will consider it as an infinite loop. And we'll have an issue. So we'll go ahead and do a not equals gold coins. Let's do gold coins as the ID. We'll do we don't need a bunch. This will go here. And the third one is going to be the level. So to get the level, we need to get the item details. We'll break it open and then compare it to this. So if it's less than or equal to the level we have, so get level. Now you can also have a little margin here of error if you'd like, but we'll just keep it at this. So if that's the case, we can plug that in. And if we are happy, we can proceed. So now I need a branch from the loop body. Let's clean this up a little bit, just a tiny bit. And okay, now then I want to create a local function or a local variable called local underscore filtered items. We can delete that. We just wanted to have the variable here. So we'll get it. And if it passes all the checks, we'll do add unique. And we'll have the item ID come from here. Let's clean this up a little bit as well. And I'm happy enough with that. Or maybe let's just do this. There we go. And once you're happy, we then want to go and complete it. Do a return of this. And we can just call this our items. Click on this. Items. And this function is looking completed. So let's compile and save that. Next, we'll go ahead and create another function called generate items. And we'll start by getting the array of the inventory and doing a clear. So if our merchant had any items previously, it will wipe everything. Then we want to resize everything. So we'll do a resize of the inventory size. And then we can begin our stuff. So we want to get the inventory slots and do set array element. So for this, we want the index to be 0. This will be our money. We can do a split to a select name. And we can do select int. So this will actually decide how much money we want to give, if any at all. So we need a boolean. Let's promote this to a boolean called add gold question mark for both. And this will be instance editable and expose on spawn. Also, our items to filter out will be instance editable and expose on spawn. This is so we can edit it per instance of this blueprint. So if add gold is true, we pick A. So in this case, gold coins will be added, and then the amount. So we actually have the amount called currency. Now I'd actually like to rename this to gold amount, and we make it instance editable and exposed on spawn, and we plug it in here to A because that's the one that gets selected. Pick A. So that's the first part. Then we want to get the filter out and return node that we made. The level we want to come from where? Also from generate items. So we'll do input level, and we can get level and we plug it in. Right, next we want to do a for loop. Now this for loop is going to actually decide how many items we want. Now to make it easier on ourselves, I'll just start the index at 1, and the last index will be the total amount we want. So promote a variable called item amount, and this is how many you want to spawn in. So instance editable and exposed on spawn. From here, we want to get a branch, and we want to check if the local items, which we don't have it yet. So I want to promote this, a local variable, again, local items, let's just say. Then this goes to a for loop. So now because we have that, we can check if this will get a random array item from whatever we have available to us. And we'll check again if it's not empty, because we might have something empty. Plug into the branch. And then this will be added. So add to inventory. There we go. Plug this in like so. Double click to arrange it and make it pretty, of course. And we want the item details. So this goes here. Break it open. And we want to clamp the item stack size. So we want item stack size, random integer in range. So the minimum value should always be 1. So hold Control and left to drag to max. Minimum is 1. And the maximum is whatever the item stack size is. So we'll plug that in here as the item quantity. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the generation. So let's file and save that. On the event graph on begin play, we actually don't need this here anymore. We can get rid of that. And let's compile and save and exit this. Next, we want to go ahead and give our player a level. Now, because I don't have a fully working level system in here, we'll just simulate that. We'll add a variable called level of type integer. And every time I press keyboard to event, I will level up. So we'll get the level, do an increment, whoops, not an equals, an increment. So an increment updates it, adds 1 and then sets it. Then we'll do a print string just to print what level we are. Handy to know. And at the end, I want to do a event dispatcher on leveled up because we want to notify our merchant, okay, hey, I got a new level, give me new items. Now, this will work perfectly for us. Now, also, let's say it was a new day and you wanted the merchant to have new stuff. So we'll also do a event, keyboard tree event, which will just simulate a new day. So we want to get all actors of class, which is our merchant. So if you remember, we did merchant, not merchant actor. That's the thing we spawned in. And then we'll do a for each loop. If by any chance you did a for each loop before adding this, or before adding this, this might not give you the inventory component. So just to show you this little error, if we leave this as actor, get inventory, it doesn't show up. So just make sure you plug in your merchant first and then get inventory. So once we have this, we want to generate items. And the level we get here. Bring this down and we'll do a print string new day. Hooray. Okay, so compile and save. Next, let's go and open up the merchant. So we'll go to merchant and BP_merchant. Now on the event begin play, we want to notify when we've actually updated or got a new level. So in here, we want to create a function called check player level. So we'll get the player character. We'll cast it to our third person character. Now you could do this function in your common function library, so you have easier access to this. But since I'm only using it once, it's okay. Find event2 on leveled up. There we go. And we'll do create event. And the event we're going to call again is just ourselves. So check player level. So once it happens, it'll bind again and listen to it for happening again. We will get the level that we want. And we want to see if this level is equal to the last level. So equals, like this here, promote to a variable called last level. So the merchant is going to remember the last level we were currently at. A branch. And on false, if it's not equal to, we'll update this again from our new level. So there. And then we will get the inventory component and we will generate items. So that's fine then. Compile and save. And we want to add this to our event begin play. So add this in. And just before we go and test this, make sure you click on your merchant's inventory and wipe any items they might have. And also on the last level, make sure to set this to be -1. Otherwise, if it's 0 and you're currently level 0, nothing will update. So compile and save that. And one more thing you can do, if you go to the inventory component, you can structure these. So add gold, gold amount, items to filter, and item amount, just so it looks cleaner if you actually click on the component. So let's click on the merchant here and go to E22 inventory component. And here we go. Add gold. Yes. 1500. This, by the way, will be added to index 0, items to filter out. Let's try to filter out the only item he can currently have, because level 1 requirement, which is small held potion. And we want 6 items, excluding gold. So if I play now, he should have only gold because that's the only thing he can have, right? So if we go here then and remove that restriction, so he can have small potions, play again, we're level 0 right now. Boom, he doesn't have it. We level up once, or press 2 actually, level 1, and boom, he has potions. Level up again to 3, he should have regular potions. He does. Level up again to 6, and he should have mana potions potentially. He does. Now, if it's a new day, press 3, boom, new potions. One more thing that we can touch on is the sound. So if we go to our inventory component and create a new function called play item sound, in here we can get in the item ID called item ID, get the item details. Now, of course, for that, we're going to need our audio. So if you go to your item data, item details, add in audio called sound, and we'll do sound bass as the default type. Save that. And in here, then you can go through every single item and add in a unique sound effect. Save that. Then in the inventory component, we can break this open, get the sound to play, do get owner, get actor location, do play sound at location, and this is the sound to play. Now your merchant currently would actually play the sound effect. So in order to avoid it on pickup, because we're adding items to them, what we can actually do is if we go to add to inventory, we can do a little check here. So get owner is equal to get player character. If true, we'll play the sound effect. So branch completed. Like so. And then we can do before we return the item sound. And the item ID we have here. So we want this on pickup. We want this on, what do we have? Split stack. We want to play the item sound as well when we split. And we're going to want to play it on the item transfer. So local item ID, like that. And we have what? Transfer slots as well. So just before or after we update, we can the item sound of the, let's say, the source. So let's do source item. Break, item ID. And there we go. Now, if we move our stuff around, we should have sound. Now, of course, I don't have anything added in the item data, but you can play around with it. So this is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like. And as always, happy developing.